Ceremonies versus contents. What do you say about the nature of this specific visit by Chinese President Xi Jinping to the UK? Ambassador Hum.
Well, I think there is a lot of ceremony associated with any state visit. We British like to think that we do ceremony particularly well, and many of your viewers will have seen the ceremony which took place just a few hours ago. But I think there is also very important content this time, because of course President Xi is an executive president, he is head of the party and the government and the military. So he is someone with whom we can do real business, and we are hoping that a lot of business will be done in the course of the state visit.
Mr. Naylor, is it all about the business? Is the business all about the business?
It is very much so. The relationship that Britain has with China is quite broad, but for the UK, the priority is very much in the short term in attracting greater Chinese inward investment into the United Kingdom, but then also in the longer term boosting the trading relationship between the two, which, let's face it, is quite imbalanced at the moment. The balance of trade is very, very much in China's favour. But what we're seeing today and over the next couple of days, there is, as Sir Christopher said, there is a lot of ceremony, there is a lot of symbolism. State visits tend to follow a similar pattern, but this one is different. It's different in that it's slightly longer than usual. There is more time for Prime Minister Cameron and President Xi Jinping to develop a personal relationship. So Xi Jinping will be dining at number 10 Downing Street as well as Chequers. And it also involves a visit to the much lauded Northern Powerhouse. And it's an opportunity for Britain to showcase parts of the country that aren't often focused on. But the central point of this visit, certainly for the United Kingdom, is economic, it's financial, it's about boosting inward investment, and in the longer term, dramatically boosting trade.
Professor Wang, here in Beijing, a lot of ceremonies. These are rare scenes even for the Chinese audience within the country. So what would you say behind the ceremonies, what are the Chinese thinking about the nature of this trip and also the potential of China-UK ties?
Well, it's a super state visit as the ambassador of China
Interestingly
to
put,
the UK
super
said.
state visit.
Yes, so many salutes, so many ceremonies. I think the United Kingdom take the leading role to recognize People's Republic of China. Now, another take the leading role to accept and recognize rights of China. The two symbols. Firstly, attract more Chinese investment. China invests more than the Germany, Italy, and France plus together in UK. Secondly, I think UK take the leading role, join AIIB. That means work together with China to build the international new financial order and even global governance.
Very interesting. Before we go to the real cold political discussions, let me ask you, Ambassador Hum, help us to understand the ceremonies that the Chinese president has been facing together with the First Lady and is about to encounter. What do those ceremonies mean usually according to your country's rules? What kind of level of guests and what kind of message do you think those ceremonies would send also to the public inside the UK about the two countries' relations?
Well, I think they will send a message that China is a respected partner, that President Xi is a respected leader, and that is the message which I'm sure the British government intends to send. All this ceremony is very attractive, but it also has a purpose. And as Mr. Naylor said, the British government is trying hard to add a little extra to this particular programme. It'll be a bit longer. It'll have more, it'll have richer elements. It will expose President Xi to all the major areas of British life, including football, but also business, also parliament, also government, of course. It is a little snapshot of Britain for the president.
Right. Which part of the visit do you think, Ambassador Hum, you would be extremely interested in observing?
Well, when President Hu Jintao paid a state visit 10 years ago, I was British ambassador, so I accompanied him every step of the way during the visit. I think I can say that the state banquet is a very splendid affair. It also brings together under the roof of Buckingham Palace leaders of every single area of public life in Britain. So the heads of the military will be there, the heads of the church will be there, the heads of government, and of course of the other political parties as well. So that's very important symbolically. But I think there is no doubt that the heart of the visit will be the personal interaction with David Cameron.
All right. In anticipation of the visit, you just now mentioned, Ambassador Hum, about the previous visit by the Chinese president at the time, Mr. Hu Jintao, to the UK. In fact, the British monarchy took to the Twitter to look back at those days on the royal family's ties with China. Shortly after the visit was finalized, there was a look back at the latest state visit by then Chinese President Hu Jintao a decade ago. Then there was a post on the Queen's visit to China in 1986, which at the time was the first for a British monarch. And in March this year was Prince William's visit to China on behalf of Her Majesty's government. A lot of ceremonies over there as well. Mr. Naylor, what about you? Which branch of the Chinese president's visit to the UK you are looking at? It's not just the price tag of the trade agreements, right?
No, that's right. I mean, it's been trailed that they're expecting around about £30 billion worth of deals to be signed. A lot of those will be memorandums of understanding and will actually materialise much later on. But I think the aspect of this visit which most interests me is the visit to the City of London itself. So Xi Jinping tomorrow night will be present at a banquet at the Guildhall in London, and that will bring together all of these senior business leaders in the United Kingdom, the banking community, the insurance community, and this industry is a strategic priority for the UK government. London is the world's preeminent financial centre.
That's right.
Just ahead of New York in terms of volumes. But in the longer term, that dynamic could change unless they can capture as much of the Chinese offshore financial business as possible. So a big part of this visit will involve a dialogue between the financial services community and the government of China.
However, we have noticed, Ambassador Hum, even inside the UK, there are different potentials of growth for its economy. For example, the northern cities, as they say, has become the attention of Mr. Osborne and his, shall I say, his team when it comes to economic policy. So will London, the City of London, still maintain a premise vis-a-vis the other parts of the country? It's a big question mark, particularly facing China and the Chinese president this time. Ambassador Hum.
Well, the City of London is unique. It is a world city. It is a world leader in the areas that Mr. Naylor mentioned. So I think the position of London is safe and it will stay. But the north of England is the heart of the Industrial Revolution. It is where a lot of our industry is based. And Mr. Osborne has this very far-sighted plan to bring together the cities of northern England, which are traditionally rather proud and rather individualistic, and bring them together into a sort of mega city. And that, I think, is a grouping which will have huge economic potential. And I think Chinese businessmen and Chinese investors will, it'll be right for them to pay very close attention to it.
Look at those pictures and also footages coming from the earlier ceremonies. It's impressive. Mr. Wang here in Beijing, we've been talking about business, and business. Of course, it's just really about business, the real essence, but there are other things. For example, political relationship. What exactly can you help us to understand? Comprehensive strategic partnership. Beautiful words put together. What does those three words really mean to us when it comes to China-UK ties? Is it about partners at time when it's convenient, Or is it about a potential of the two countries really closely interlinked and entangled?
Of course, the latter.
I knew you would say the latter. Of
You
course,
know,
so go ahead.
United Kingdom is the permanent member of United Nations Security Council in China also. So they work together in Sierra Leone, in Western Africa, in Ebola, many international security affairs in the Middle East. Now, so-called China's Belt and Road Initiative, I think many things to work together with the UK as the capital and the policy coordination and even trade and the people-to-people exchange, because of many areas and many countries that have a very traditional linkage with the UK, like India, Pakistan, Middle East.
Right.
So we should work together, focus on that. And besides this, and China and the UK can also take a leading role for global governance in the climate change. This nuclear plan deal is helpful for that. And
But you know, Professor Wang, China and the UK over the past few years, there were actually a few hiccups politically. And of course, things calmed down and seem to be on a beautiful path. But many here in this country wonder about what exactly the UK has in mind. Is it all about money when dealing with China at the back of the mind? Or it's fine, it's national interest, right? But is there something more? Can the UK be counted as an all-weather partner? Or rather, it is a partner only when the great time happens?
Well, we cannot say the all-weather partner, how to say that, because UK has four identities as the Commonwealth, the United Kingdom, and also Western country, and European country, European Union member. There are two logic. One is trade, investment, business. Another one is security, ideology. Now, I think that the Commerce, Department of Commerce, take a leading role, Osborne. But maybe the Minister of Foreign Affairs and other, security consideration, ideology still push the current government, the kowtow to China and just for business. So still, how to make this balance?
Mr. Naylor, before we go, very briefly from you, where do you think the relation is going? All weather it can be, or only at great times? Very briefly from you, sir.
No, I think it's certainly an all-weather relationship. If you look at the itinerary of the visit, to pick on Sir Christopher's point about the people-to-people links in science, in technology, in education, Xi Jinping's visit includes a visit to Imperial College London, to the Graphene Institute in Manchester. So the visit is not just centred on commerce, it's centred on people-to-people exchange. And finally, to go back to your earlier point about public sentiment, public opinion, a couple of polls were undertaken in the last couple of days, which asked the British people who they thought Britain's biggest or most important commercial partner will be in 20 years. And 80% opted for China, way ahead of Europe, way ahead of the United States. So the public sentiment is very much behind a sustained all-weather relationship, albeit one which will be grounded on commerce, trade and investment.